Hello everybody! Now we have a new challenge against a 2157 player. He played e4. Okay, let's go for the Sicilian. I'm feeling like playing a sharp game. So should I play the timanov? Yeah, let's go for the timanov. One of my main weapons with black. Now let's play a6. Okay, so he's going for the so-called English attack. So white is preparing long castle and then trying to attack me on the queen side, on the king side rather. So we're following the main lines here. Okay, now I played a3, which is a very slow move. I think after such a move black has to be fine here. Actually the move a3 can maybe even is harmful for white, because in some positions I can prepare the move pawn to b4 and I will use this pawn on a4 to open up my b file. So I can even consider in this very position to play a rook to b8 with the idea b4. So let me consider this one. I can also just develop my pieces with bishop b7, let's say. Or I can also keep full flexibility with the move castle. Everything looks quite logical. But this is a 10+0 game, so I think I will have to stick with my intuition, which tells me just to develop. Let's do bishop b7, g4. Yeah, okay, let's castle. Now he's playing kind of automatically. He just wants to push his pawns on the queen side with a move like g5 and h5 to attack my king. But I have my own counter chances here. I have one particular idea in mind in this position that I especially like, because what I would really like to achieve is this pawn break, pawn to d5. So I'm thinking whether could I do it maybe even right now to try to prepare this move. So I'm thinking to take on d4 and then to play e5 and then to play d5. I think it works, but let me check once again because this is a very critical continuation. Let me take. So the reason that the move like d5 is in my opinion kind of is very logical in this kind of situation, because white played two moves on the sides of the board. So by the principles of chess it's very logical to counter attack in the center of the board if your opponent plays on the sides. So you see, now I played the move, the breakthrough d5, he took it, and then this is the move that I prepared in advance, this rook f to d8. Now his pawn is under attack 3 times, and I don't see a very good way for him to defend it. So I played queen f2. Yeah, I actually missed this move from afar, but now I actually have a tactical possibility to take this pawn on a3. So remember that I said that one day this pawn might even be like a liability for white rather than an asset. So once again this bishop takes a3 is very tempting. I could also just take on d5, and if the knight takes, to take with the rook, because his idea is to fork me with bishop rather skewer me with bishop b6, but this is not going to work. But bishop takes a3 looks good enough. The idea is that I'm not only taking the pawn, But I'm also threatening queen takes the knight on c3 because the pawn on b2 is pinned, so he cannot play bishop b6, for example. So I'm thinking that white has to play a move like king b1 here just to get himself out of the pin. But then I can proceed in a couple of ways. I shall see. Knight to b1. Now that's a cheeky move. I actually forgot that this move even exists. Maybe it's not so bad. Now he's threatening to take my bishop, and he's also threatening this bishop b6 stuff. Yeah. So maybe I will have to sacrifice the exchange. Not exactly a sacrifice, because I have just missed the move knight b1. It's like a forced. It's like I'm being forced to sacrifice the exchange. But maybe this is not so bad. But do I have a way not to sacrifice the exchange? I can consider taking on d5. I can consider rook c8. But it doesn't seem like it's too promising. Okay, let me just play bishop b4. Let's sacrifice the exchange. I will just play with an exchange down. But I will have some compensation because I will have a very nice control over the dark squares on the board. My bishop would be very strong here on c5. Because you see, almost all of his pawns are situated on light squares. So it will make my dark square bishop very strong. Still, I think that I do not have full compensation for the exchange, but once again I did not have too many choices but to sacrifice. So now I should take the pawn on d5. Can also consider breaking through with e4. Yeah. I had such a good position out of the opening, now it's not so easy. Okay, let me just... Let's just take the pawn on d5 with the bishop, because if I take with the knight, he would probably do something like bishop e4. Now my knight on h5 looks a bit funny, but I just want to place it on f4, which is actually a very nice square for the knight. So I'm not too unhappy about this. Now I also figured that I have one pawn for the exchange, so it's not like a full exchange sacrifice. So now I'm feeling slightly more confident. Now I played this move c3, which I really don't like by him. Seems to me he just lost the tempo because now his queen is under attack. I think he should have played bishop e4 on the previous move to try to exchange some pawns. And now he was threatening bishop takes pawn, but I just played the move g6, which is frankly a very useful move for black anyways, in my opinion, because I want to give my king a lift square on g7 and also to protect my knight. Now bishop e4. I think I will check on e3. I think this is a very annoying check for white to face because he will have to block with his knight. Yeah, let's do this. It's nice to make moves which make it awkward for the opponent to respond. And now his knight is cutting off his rook from getting to me. Now I think I have some tactics. Let's first of all, let's take the bishop. Now the trap is that if he takes with the queen, I will have this knight g3 idea with a fork against his queen and against his rook. So he's probably forced to take with the pawn actually. And then I'm planning to install my knight somewhere, maybe on f4 or g3, some nice square, and basically trying to hold on because I'm still an exchange down. So white still should have the upper hand. Let's play knight g3. No, knight g3 will have, yeah, okay, let's do it. Let's try to complicate things at least a little bit. Now the obvious move would be rook e1, but then I have bishop f2, and I think I win back the exchange. So I think he should play either rook h2 or rook h3, just to avoid all of the tactics. He played the rook to h3, but this move also has some drawbacks because this rook is not protected. So in some variations I might have this move queen to d7 to hit both the rook and his knight. But now my knight is under attack, so I need to protect him first of all. How can I defend? Wow, I have a nice move here, knight f1. Wow, if this move works, it would be beautiful. I've only now noticed this move. Not sure if it's the best move, but at least a very beautiful geometrical move. Well, let's do it. Knight f1. Now the idea is that if he takes with the rook, the rook is no longer protecting his knight, so I will take with the rook on d2, hitting his queen. So that looks good for me. Yeah, that's what he did. I'm not even sure this was the best continuation, but at least now the material is roughly equal. I have a queen and a pawn against two rooks, so it should be relatively equal. It's still a big question who's going to have the better pieces, because generally the queen is very strong in open positions. So if there are very few pawns left on the board, the queen would be very strong because she could maneuver very easily and create a lot of problems. Yeah, for example, now I played his rook to f3. This is an annoying move because he wants maybe to take my pawn and to force me to go into some unclear endgame, pawn endgame, which I still think black have some small pull. Let's try to play for this position. Oh, he took. Oh, I did not anticipate that. I thought his idea was to exchange, but now I can take the pawn. And then I will have this small check on g2 with the idea to take his pawn on e4. I can also play queen e3 to take the pawn this way. Maybe it's more safe. Let's play this. Okay, he has a couple of checks, but I can just run away over here, so I'm not too afraid. He can try to checkmate me though, which is more concerning. He can try to move his rook somewhere on the 7th line. So the two rooks has like a bigger potential to make some checkmating tricks, so I really have to be careful. Now, for example, I want to play king h6, I think I will. So he has one check on h1, but then I just hide my king on g5, and I think black is okay. I see no further checks for him. And the problem for white is that he just cannot defend his pawn on e4 very easily. And once I get this pawn on e4, I will have two connected pawns on e5 and g6, and then I think black will already have the upper hand. Let me take the pawn. Yeah, king d2. Okay, so now I'm safe, but I don't have too much time. So, should I start pushing the pawns? Okay, let's start pushing the pawns. I don't see reason not to. Now my plan is quite easy. I just want to advance them as further away as possible. But my real problem is the clock, that's for sure. Okay, he goes for pawns. I don't think it's a very smart strategy because pawns are not so important in this position like the time he is losing for taking them, because he's not creating any passed pawns for himself. I think I also made a mistake when I played this. I could play queen g2 check. Okay, never mind. Okay, he lets me push my pawns without too many disturbances, so I'm quite happy about this. Now I can also play the pawn to g2 actually, which is actually very tempting. No time at all. Yeah, okay, let's play g2. Now let me check here. Yeah, I think I must be winning here, but the time is so badly in his favor. He played too slowly. Yeah, now I think this move wins. Yeah, now if he takes my pawn, I have this check on f3. Yeah, now black must be completely winning here. But now it's all about time. Will I make it? Problem is I cannot pre-move the move queen f3. Yeah, because now checkmate. Oh. It took me a second to figure that this was actually a checkmate. Yeah, very fortunate for me that the game ended up like this, but I think my position is completely winning here. The two connected pawns, even if he is not blundering this checkmate. Let's see if I could have played better in the opening. So yeah, so in this position, yeah, a3 I don't like very much. Now the computer likes the move d5 immediately for black, but somehow I liked what I've this e5 and then d5. Oh, I also had the move before here. That's very interesting because now he has to take, and then perhaps I have some ideas to double his pawns on c3 if I want. So this looks tempting for black. This what I should have done, but d5 is just so thematic that I felt it must be good. Yeah, and also here I had this move before. Yeah, this looks very strong because now I take his pawn, and I also threaten to take on d5 next move using this spin on the queen. So yeah, I missed a lot of nice moments, but my real blunder was probably this one. But computer is not too impressed. He says that black is still okay in this position, which I find quite surprising. I thought I'm in big troubles, but seems like I'm okay. Yeah, and here actually I'm already better after this sequence of moves. Yeah, now this move knight f1 was too tempting not to play, but computer points out that even bishop f4 is stronger. And I think his point is that white is in a bit of a problem because he doesn't have almost any moves. If he plays king b1 with the idea to get out of the pin and to move the knight, I once again have this queen d7 double attack and I win material. So yeah, very crazy game. I think at some point I was winning, but I was very slow at making the moves. So next time I will try to play a bit faster, even though my main aim in these games is to keep the high quality games rather than winning them necessarily. So I would choose quality over winning. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this game. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.